Sure.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Down Under series in Out of the Park. And today I have a good friend of mine, Ram Bharadwaj, who I've played a lot of cricket with as well in my growing up days in the mid 90s. And today we're going to be breaking down this first encounter between India and Australia, and also giving you some insights about tomorrow's game, the big game at Sydney again. And Ram himself is an ardent cricket fan, was a good cricketer in his days, and he is here to share his insights as well. Ram, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thank you, Abhishek. Time and good to catch up again. I know we talk a lot about cricket offline, but good to be online this time.
Thanks a lot. And like the jersey as well, the spirit of Indian cricket upheld. Ram, by the way, is in
Yeah,
the USA, and there's not much cricket that is being played. Or is it? Is there a little bit of cricket that you play there?
I've moved to Canada now. The last year or so, I've moved to Canada. But yes, I used to play cricket very regularly when I was in Houston, but
Uh-huh.
I've now moved to Canada.
Oh,
Not much cricket here. Just a spectator right now, looking at warmer weather. It's minus 15 today, so you can imagine.
wow. I can imagine. Yes, it's nice, bright and sunny here in Bangalore, so I'm not complaining too much. But yeah, let's get to the meat of the show straight away. And First of all, what are your takes on yesterday's game? I mean, if you were to give give like an overall opinion on the game, do you feel
Yeah.
we faltered in team selection, or did we go wrong on the field, or did our batting let us down, or was it a combination of everything?
I'll summarize it. I think where we lost the game is in the middle overs. I think we started off pretty flat. I think Bumrah has been not the greatest on show with respect to the 50 over format in the last in 2020. He's got only 2 wickets in 7 games. So that's a little bit of a bummer for a guy who won the purple cap in the recently concluded IPL. You expect him to pick wickets, but I think you cannot single out one guy. I think there was a lot of mistakes in the field in the first session, and I think they were overwhelmed to chase 374. Any given day, that's a daunting task. They had 331, I think the highest chase total with Manish Pandey's century 3 years ago, or I think 2016, I think 4 years ago.
Right.
But I think they faltered. I think they were just not ready for the 50 over format yet. I think they're still making the transition from the 20 over format. And, given that the Indian team has not had a lot of cricket together, though all the 11 players yesterday who featured in the Indian jersey have played in the recent IPL. So there's no ifs and buts in cricket, as we know. But yes, collective effort. I think the fielding and the middle overs kind of drowned us. They could have finished stronger when they bowled, probably restricted them to under 330. Maybe that's a gettable target with this batting order. But I thought that's where they lost steam, and then losing the 3 wickets, back to back within the 20th over, just set back. But I thought Pandya and Dhawan kind of played really, um, kept up the momentum with the run rate, but I think they lost steam in that middle overs when they bowled, and then they couldn't build the partnerships that they could. So and Australia has a tough place to always win. So yeah, that's something they need to correct um, uh, quickly and make sure that they win the second one.
Right, those were some interesting insights from you. Going by form of the IPL, I think KL Rahul, in my opinion, should have got, a look in at the top of the order. That was my personal opinion, because I think he has had a fabulous IPL, and so has Shikhar Dhawan. So together as a combination, I think they would have been lethal at the top of the order, and I would have played Manish Pandey, considering the kind of experience that he has had in Australia. Like you mentioned, a century that he got down under last time around. So that would have been my choice of the batting order. Do you agree with that?
Totally agree. I don't think I would have given Mayank a go up front, knowing that KL had scored 700, close to 700 runs in the IPL. I would have opened him right up the top with Shikhar, and then number 3 would be Virat. I know Shreyas hasn't played much of cricket in the bouncy wickets. All his cricket has been at number 4 on flat tracks. If you see, he's played West Indies and he's played Sri Lanka and Australia at home. Basically, he's never and I don't think he played the New Zealand series. He didn't have much of a feature in the New Zealand series in 2020 in February, much of a score in that. So I think we still have to give time to too many early days to call. But yeah, definitely I would have opened with KL and Shikhar, and I would have slotted in Manish Pandey at 5. Um, Hardik Pandya at 6, just as a pure batsman, as a gamble. If he didn't bowl, he could have bowled at least 3 or 4 of his seam ups, would have helped. I saw that as purely a miss to use him, even though I know his fitness, he's lacked some fitness, he's had some fitness issues. He could have bowled about 4 to 5 overs. That could have helped with that 6 bowler option. But I thought, yeah, definitely KL Rahul, with the form of his life, with Shikhar Dhawan, should have opened right at the top.
I was actually coming to that point of yours of Hardik Pandya bowling his team ups as well. Um, we really don't understand what the issue that has been going around with Hardik Pandya completely, but possibly it could have been due to a niggle, or it could have been due to a back surgery that he had nursed some time back, and because of which I think he is not bowling a seam ups. But before this match, I actually thought he would have been at least handed over about 4 or 5 overs that could have helped us,
Yeah,
considering the way the Indian bowlers were being tonked around the park. But yes,
yeah.
uh, it is what it is at the end of the first one day international. Coming back to a very interesting and an important point, uh, do you think Virat Kohli is missing Mahendra Singh Dhoni, um, the guidance of Dhoni on the field, or is it very early to call that at this point in time?
I would say, no. He's been doing the captaincy for a good 6 years now. I think 2014, 2015 is when he transitioned, with Dhoni retiring from the Test scene. He has been the leader for the last 3.5 years now as the ODI, but I still think he lacks the. He's a great captain for the Test. To go in with an aggression, he's got 5 days to correct his mistake. But I think in the shorter format, he definitely lacks that. He's been the RCB face of RCB for the last 7 years as a captain. After Vittori gave up call it quits. So he does have some of his shortcomings in the shorter format. I think a level-headed person like Dhoni or Rohit Sharma being there by his side has helped with his success, with his recent success, but he's not won anything big. So I would still, Virat Kohli would be the captain. I don't think India is going to change anything just because of the type of cricketer he is. And I think he's a legend in the 2010s. There's no other cricketer that has scored many runs and won matches single-handedly for India.
Right.
So given that, I think you can always be a great batsman, but I don't see them ending up as great captains. But he's done well for himself in the Test format. But still, I think in the shorter format of game, I think he's still taking his time to adapt. He's had the settled team now for the last 3 years or so. He's had the likes of Hardik Pandya, Jadeja. So he's not using them to the right amount that we would like to see a captain use. I think that's where Dhoni was the man manager. He was an excellent man manager. And we don't have to talk about Dhoni. I mean,
Right.
he is really cut above the rest. But I think it's too soon to call Virat's time as a captain in the limited format. I would still see him, knowing the fierce competitor that he is. I think he's going to come back with a bigger ton in the next couple of games. I think he's going to come back and prove that the batsman Kohli will lead India to a victory. So that's what we hope as cricket fans, that Kohli will shine. But as a captain, yes, I think he's got the wisdom. I think now that he's led India in a lot of games in the last 5 or 6 years, but I still see there is some. Uh, he doesn't have the same shrewdness as Dhoni or Rohit Sharma, to put it in a very subtle way.
Right. I think he's a very emotional, a very passionate guy. You can see that, in his demeanor on the cricket field. So at times probably that overrides the way he thinks, on his feet. So that could possibly be a reason. But yes, coming to that very interesting point that you made as well about Kohli, the batsman leading from the front. Yesterday we saw shades of vintage Virat Kohli of the 2012 game against Sri Lanka. He came out positive, all guns blazing. That flick over, mid wicket was out of this world. It was almost orgasmic, I can say. And I think very few people can pull off a shot like that. And of course, coming down the wicket and tonking that ball through covers, I think a couple of those strokes did give me an indication that he could replicate the 2012 game against Sri Lanka, where I think India got 300 plus in say 40 overs, I think 36 overs or something like that, right?
36 overs, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I think he, like you said, I think they got overwhelmed by the total of 374, and yeah, well, yeah, I think the result was
yeah, I mean, exactly. But the one thing that I would like to point here, in 2011 World Cup, Dhoni used Zahir Khan in short bursts. He would not give him an extended spell of 5 or 6 overs. It would always be the first 3 overs, bringing back in between the 32nd over and the 40th over, and then having him finish the 46th through the 50th over. I think that's where I think India, probably with Kohli's captaincy, we should be able to see Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami come in that short burst, do the 6 over spell, then let Navdeep Saini or Chahal take over, and then come back if you have a settled partnership, you need wicket takers who could break. I think Zahir Khan did that very well. He had 11 wickets. I was just looking at the stats, which is phenomenal for a guy in 2011. He had 11 wickets in that period of 32 to 40 overs. That broke partnership, except for the South Africa game. He had 11. He had broken key partner, and the quarterfinal where he got Hussey, which was the biggest wicket at Ahmedabad. So if you look at that, that's where I think Kohli could have done better. He could have brought in Jasprit Bumrah and Shami for that short spell to break any partnership where Steve Smith was going all guns blazing. He could have broken that partnership between Maxwell and Smith. That could have been a big game changer. So yeah, something that the management can think. I think they've got enough analysts looking at the game nowadays, so they should be looking at that key spell where they can get those wickets.
That's a very interesting insight, in terms of using bowlers in short bursts. I think that's the way you kind of optimize your entire strength in any department. And like you said, 2-3 over spells that could probably unsettle batsmen as well. And else, I think it they get used to especially in Australia, the bounce is so true. You have a look at a bowler for about 2-3 overs, and then you're kind of set and you're very confident once you middle a few deliveries. So I think that's a very interesting point that you made as well. Are the men in blue missing Rohit Sharma? I think it's
definitely. I would say definitely a man. I think fitness-wise, I think Kohli's team, Kohli commands fitness. Just his journey from 2012 through now, we can see how the chubby Kohli, the teenager Kohli, turned into whatever he is right now. And I think Kohli, we saw that during the first game of CSK and MI, you had a little bit of the 30 plus uncles playing the game there. And I think Rohit Sharma still a skilled batsman. If this was the 90s, I think Rohit Sharma walks in the team because fitness was not that. It was there, but it is not as it is right now under Kohli's captaincy, right? So I think he misses out on that. I don't think India will take the risk of using Rohit Sharma with that kind of an injury. Though he is at NCA, I'm told that that he is trying to get up to fitness so that he can be a part of the Test tour. Though Ishma has been ruled, there is still some kind of sign that Rohit Sharma might make it, which we don't know. But yes, I'm missing him in the ODI. I think the guy, Rohit Sharma, the last 5 years we've known, ever since he's opened, since 2013, but his records speak. He is second in the list, close to Kohli with respect to the number of runs and the number of centuries. So, yes, definitely missing Rohit Sharma. But I think we have a very well-balanced side this time. I don't see a reason why India cannot do well because I know last time when India went out there, KL Rahul was struggling. He was not in the best form of his life. But right now he's in a purple patch. I expect KL Rahul to go back up to the top of the order and start making those big runs. So though people think that he's had enough chances, I think there's a lot of talk about KL Rahul having a soft side, but he's done well. New Zealand tour, that speaks volumes. I did feel that he should have been part of the test side too in New Zealand when he was in that kind of a form in the ODIs and T20s. That's something that they missed. But yes, definitely Rohit Sharma with his experience and the long innings that he plays, I think for the 50 over format, definitely Hitman, I miss you.
Right, and I think these are certain aspects that Kohli might want to revisit. Like you said, when KL Rahul was in the form of his life in New Zealand, I think it's a combination of what the captain does, what the think tank does, and the selection committee does as well. So I think that is something the BCCI as a whole needs to revisit and give a serious look in. So I think KL Rahul should be our first choice opener for the test matches as well. And for a guy like that, even if he fails in 5-6 test matches, I would probably, bet my money's big on him because he is that kind of a player. I think he's a phenomenal talent. His hand-eye coordination, the way he sights the ball early and, plays it to perfection is a talent. It's something that probably he has worked on as well, but I think not too many people get it naturally, like the Sehwags and the Tendulkars of the world. I think KL Rahul is that way, really good. AB de Villiers,
Yeah.
Yeah. And sorry, you were about to say something.
No, the other thing that I feel is the number 4 slot. I don't think India is going to rejig any of this playing 11 unless Navdeep Saini, that he's had the hamstring niggle and stuff. I would like to see T. Natarajan play ahead of the other reserves that they have, just because he brings that left arm seam, and he's bowled 71 Yorkers in the IPL, the most by any bowler, and the second best was I think 47. So by far, I would like to see, because he'll bring in the variety, and I'll probably, though Chahal is Kohli's man, I would like to bring in Kuldeep for the second, because it's going to be a drier pitch. It's going to be 40 degrees C tomorrow at Sydney. I know the first game was about 28 degrees C, but with the drier pitch, the ball is going to stop. I think Kuldeep's variations are better than Chahal's. And though the batsmen have figured out how to play Kuldeep, but I think having those two left-arm seamers with Jasprit Bumrah and Shami, it's going to be lethal. I think they'll do. And again, going with the 5-bowler strategy that India are going in with, I would still like to see the 3 or 4 overs from Hardik Pandya, and then mix that up with Ravindra Jadeja's spin, which is on dot for the first 6 overs, but he goes expensive towards the end. That's where they can plan that and see a better performance with the bowling unit.
I was actually trying to understand as well before the first game, since you have Jadeja who takes the ball away from the right-handers. Would it have been better for us to have Kuldeep, the mystery bowler, who could uh, you know turn it both ways, instead of having a similar variation of the ball moving away? I know Chahal has a brilliant googly, and he tosses it up really well, and he plays around with flight, etc. But I thought it would have made more sense to have Kuldeep instead of Chahal, because we have Ravindra Jadeja in the mix. So
Agree.
yeah, so
Totally.
quickly moving on to what could Australia think about their team selection in the next game? Are they going to go with the winning combination, or you think they're going to make some changes, according to you?
I wouldn't tinker unless they want to try somebody new. I
Mhm.
wouldn't tinker because I think Maxwell has had a low IPL, but yesterday he proved the explosive batsman that he is, scoring whatever 47 of 19 balls. I think that was the game changer with Steve Smith and Maxwell really pushing that boundary that it moved a score from 340 to 370. I wouldn't change a winning combination because Hazelwood was on dot, classic bowler. Mitchell Stark was there, right up there. I know he's not among the wickets, but he's going to be there. Adam Zampa surprised me with his 4 wickets. I thought India play leg spin much better than that, but we saw that even in the game against Sunrisers, he had a phenomenal in the eliminator. He had 4 overs for 12 runs. So he's some bowler that I don't think India has picked really well. He's done well here. When he came here too, Adam Zampa did that very well in the third and fourth thing. The only weak link I feel in the Australian team right now is the wicket-keeper spot. Alex Carey is not getting the runs that he would like to, and I don't know who the backup is, but that is the only weak
I
link
think
that they would
I think
like to
we have
see if there's a Matthew Wade kind of a player.
but I think Wade, if you actually compare the two, I think they would go for Carey any day because of the kind of performances that he has put up. But like you said, that is a chink in their armory. That is quite an interesting insight as well. Marcus Stoinis was quite a surprise yesterday. The way he was bowling those lengths and keeping it quiet. Else, I think at one point in time, India were kind of, I wouldn't say running away with the game, but they were kind of coming back into the game aggressively, and the kind of form that Hardik Pandya was in yesterday. And it's heartening to see Pandya bat that way because as we know, at this point in time, he is playing as a purist, as a pure batsman at number 6. He's not giving us those extra overs, and I think he has kind of realized that, and he's taken that as on himself to fill in those shoes of the number 6, a pure number 6 batsman. So so it was.
One very, very interesting stat that I read. Hardik Pandya is the fastest Indian to score 1,000 runs in ODIs. 55 ODIs at 836 balls or 837 balls, which is the fastest. The second fastest was 937. So, that itself shows that the kind of strike rate that he can bring. If he can put his head down, I would expect Hardik Pandya, if he's not bowling his 3 or 4 overs, 90 runs any day, I'll take it from Hardik Pandya. I think he's a fantastic cricketer, fantastic talent, but we just have to see how he fits in the balance of the team, right? So definitely a very, very good cricketer to pursue with, especially with the T20 World Cup in India next time on flat track. I think Hardik Pandya is going to be awesome with the bat.
I think, Pandya is a big-hearted cricketer. I think that is, one word that would define Hardik Pandya. The guy does not like to throw in the towel, and he has been a fighter through his career. So yes, Hardik Pandya is probably one of our trump cards, if I may say, for this particular series.
Yeah.
Right then, I
Agreed.
think we have covered pretty much all that we have had to. And in tomorrow's game, I think both Ram and me agree that India should go with the same 11, but for maybe pushing KL Rahul up the order and bringing in Manish Pandey there just to give us the added cushioning of experience. I think Shreyas Iyer has been a very good performer over the years, and I think one game does not define a player's performance. So yes, I think that would be it from India's perspective, and I think Australia is going to go with the winning combination.
The same 11.
Right. Thank you so much for your
Agreed.
insights, Ram, and hopefully we can catch up before the next game or after the next game if all goes well. And yeah, that's it from us from the Down Under series. And
Awesome.
we'll be catching up with you soon. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
All right. Take care. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.